The legend of the five elemental dragons. Long ago, when the universe was still young, it was shaped by five primordial beings, the five eternal dragons. They were not merely creatures. They were the very embodiment of nature itself, guardians of balance who ensured harmony across all realms. The five eternal dragons. Agnir, the flame-born, the dragon of fire, whose breath could forge mountains and reduce them to ashes. His presence was both a blessing and a curse, for fire brings warmth and destruction alike. Lumis, the radiant, the dragon of light, whose very presence could banish the deepest darkness. He was the beacon of hope, guiding lost souls and maintaining order in the cosmic dance. Erisa, the Stormbringer, the queen of the winds, whose wings could shift the tides of fate. She controlled the skies, weaving storms and tempests as she saw fit. Tyrannis, the earth shaper, the dragon of stone and soil, the foundation of all life. With a single step, he could raise continents, and with a sigh, he could bury civilizations beneath the ground. Mirador, the tidekeeper, the dragon of water, whose presence dictated the movement of oceans and rivers. His wisdom was as deep as the abyss, and his fury could drown entire worlds. Together, these five dragons maintained the delicate balance of the universe. But their unity was not destined to last. The betrayal of Agnir. For eons, the five eternal dragons ruled in harmony, shaping planets and weaving the fabric of existence itself. But as time passed, a shadow grew within Agnir. He watched as civilizations worshipped the light of Lumis, the gentle embrace of Mir and the nourishing touch of Tyrannis. Yet his own gifts, fire, destruction, and rebirth were feared, while the other dragons were seen as creators. Agnir was seen as a destroyer. He began to believe that fire was the ultimate force, the one that truly dictated life and death. Without fire, there would be no rebirth, no renewal. And yet, his power was always restrained, his flames tamed by the will of the others. His resentment festered. And then he made a choice. One night, when the celestial constellations aligned and the veil between realms was thin, Agnir struck. His fire spread across the cosmos, consuming entire worlds in his fury. He sought to remake the universe in his own imager realm of eternal fire, where only the strongest could survive. The War of the Five. The other dragons were horrified by Agnir's betrayal. He, who was once their brother, had become the harbinger of chaos. Lumis gathered his light, forming a celestial barrier to shield the remaining worlds from Agnir's wrath. Erisa called upon the might of the storms, summoning winds so fierce they tore through Agnir's infernal armies. Tyrannis raised mountains to halt the fire spread, while Mirador summoned tsunamis to drown the raging flames. But Agnir was relentless. His fire burned hotter than the sun, and his fury knew no bounds. For centuries, the war raged on, a cosmic battle that shook the fabric of reality itself. Stars were extinguished, planets reduced to cinders. The balance of the universe hung by a thread. In the end, the four remaining dragons realized that Agnir could not be defeated, only sealed away. Combining their powers, they forged a prison from the essence of all four elements, a realm where fire could burn but never spread, where his rage would be forever contained. With one final, heart-wrenching battle, they cast him into this eternal prison, locking him away from the universe he had sought to reshape. But as they did, Agnir roared a final promise. This prison will not hold me forever. Fire cannot be contained forever. One day, the flames will rise again, and when they do, the universe will burn. The aftermath and the prophecy. With Agnir sealed away, the balance of the universe was restored, but at a cost. The battle had weakened the four dragons, and their once eternal power had faded. They retreated into slumber, waiting for the day they would be needed once more. Legends speak of a time when Agnir's prison will weaken, when his flames will seep into the world once more. And on that day, a new dragon will rise, one with the power to either stop Agnir once and for all, or set him free. No one knows who this dragon will be. Perhaps it will be the last descendant of the five. Perhaps it will be someone who does not yet exist. Or perhaps it will be you, the return of the Flameborn. Ages passed. The cosmos slowly healed from the War of the Five. New stars were born. Civilizations rose and fell, and the names of the eternal dragons became myths, whispered in ancient tongues and carved into forgotten ruins. But while the universe believed that Agnir was gone forever, fire never truly dies. Sid only waits for the right spark to reignite. The prison that held Agnir the Ember cage had been crafted with the combined powers of Loomis, Erisa, Tyrannis, and Mirador. For millennia, it remained unbreakable. But time erodes all things, and the dragon's slumber had weakened its bindings. Deep within the infernal realm, Agnir stirred. His flames, once suppressed, flickered back to life. His rage, smoldering for eons, began to boil. And then a crack appeared. The prophecy unfolds. Far across the cosmos, in the kingdom of Slavers, a young dragon named Kelith was born. He was different from the others of his kind. His scales shimmered with hues of both fire and light, and when he roared, it was neither purely destructive nor purely radiant. It was both. The elders of Salvaris were troubled. A dragon of two elements had not been seen since the time of the five. Could he be the one, the ancient? Prophecies foretold. Kelith, oblivious to the weight of destiny on his wings, spent his youth feeling out of place. The other dragons feared his fire, yet were mesmerized by his glow. He was torn between two forces, as if something deep within him was trying to pull him in opposite directions. One night, as Kelith slept beneath the twin moons of Salvaris, he was visited by a vision. A golden dragon, glowing like a fallen sun, spoke to him in a voice that echoed through time. The flame is rising once more. The world will burn unless balance is restored. Find the key of elements and seek the last remnants of the four. Only then can you face what is coming. Kelith awoke with a start. He did not know what the key of elements was, nor were the remaining dragons of the four could be found. But the fire in his soul whispered a truth he could no longer ignore. Agnir was returning, and only he could stop him. The awakening of Agnir. The ember cage was shattering. The crack in the prison grew wider, and from within, Agnir's molten eyes burned once more. He had waited for this moment, gathering strength in the depths of his prison, whispering his will into the flames that seeped through reality. He had foreseen this day. The world had forgotten him, and in its arrogance it had grown weak. The balance was broken not by him, but by the very ones who had sealed him away. For as the four dragons faded, so did the balance they once protected. Without Agnir's fire, the universe had grown cold. Civilizations had become stagnant, and the light of Loomis had turned into a blinding rule of order. Agnir was no longer merely a destroyer. He was the force of change that the universe had abandoned. With a thunderous roar that shook the void itself, the ember cage crumbled, and Agnir was free. The Flameborn had returned. Keleth's journey, guided by visions and an unshakable pull in his soul. Keleth left his home in Salt, venturing into the forgotten realms of the cosmos. He sought the remnants of the four, but they had disappeared long ago. Legends whispered of Loomis's last ember, hidden in a dying star, of Eris's lingering winds, trapped in an eternal storm, of Tarani's final breath, sealed beneath the ruins of a world long buried, and of Meridar's lost tide, now a frozen ocean drifting in the void. Keleth knew that he was running out of time. Agnir's fire was already spreading across the stars. Worlds were vanishing into flames, and ancient powers were stirring in response. The war that had ended eons ago was about to begin again. But this time, it would not be between the five. This time, it would be between the past and the future. The battle to come. Agnir soared through the universe like a storm of living fire, his very presence setting entire galaxies ablaze. He did not seek destruction for its own. Seiki sought to remake the cosmos in his image. He would tear down the stagnation of the past. He would forge a new world, born of fire and strength, and nothing would stand in his way, except for one dragon. Keleth, the last descendant of the five, had finally found the key of elements, a relic forged in the first age, containing the combined essence of the four dragons. It pulsed with their lingering power, waiting for a wielder worthy of its strength. As it stood on the burning edge of a dying world, staring into the inferno that was Agnir's approach, Keleth understood the truth. This was not just a battle of fire against fire. This was a battle for the very nature of balance itself, and he was the only one left to fight it. The final choice. The legends did not speak of how this story would end. Would Keleth defeat Agnir and restore the four? Would he fall, allowing the universe to be consumed in eternal fire? Or would he make a different choice? For deep inside, Keleth felt a secret that even the ancient dragons had never known. Agnir's fire was not meant to be destroyed. It was meant to be understood. Perhaps the War of the Five had been a mistake. Perhaps fire was never meant to be sealed away. And so, as the two dragons clashed in a battle that would shake the universe itself, Keleth faced the ultimate decision: to destroy, to seal, or to change the very fate of dragons forever.